We have traveled a journey with our website, as many companies have on legacy servers, things, the world changing very quickly and our systems not changing as quickly as the world is changing. So we were constantly struggling with working internally, which we had done several times. We had had stores created. We had had websites created. We also had this very, very old learning management system, okay, that proved to be quite challenging when you were trying to update a store and a website with today's features and technology, yet behind the scenes, you had this very challenging old legacy server that wouldn't play well, with all of these new features. So we were quite challenged with going to the next level with our website. We tried outsourcing to some of the larger organizations, and we tried that several times. We did have a single person. He worked on the site for a while, and then he actually moved on, and he did a good job. But again, technology changes a year after you update it, and it wasn't playing nice as well. Then what happened was throughout the vetting process of some of these larger organizations, everyone says they can build a website, they could take your website to the next level, and you're trying to find that, I guess, balance of how much time of yours are they going to take. We had to, really, really go through a lot of meetings and meet the teams, and nothing felt quite right. Okay. It was almost too heavy lifting for a company of our size to work with some of these companies that promise the world, of course, and everything got a little overwhelming. Jenny answered a ad and came in to talk to us because we were looking to do a smaller project, which are some of these websites that are part of the other, businesses that we have, which were media, printing, things of that nature. And in our conversation with her, and this is how IAL tends to like to work, she pitched herself as more consultative type role, whereas we would farm out this project to her. I would work with her, and she and her team would help work with us in a more personalized way to also help us make good decisions. Whereas all these other companies you were working with, they wanted you to make the decisions and tell us what to do. She was coming more from a get into the IIL DNA, if you will, and help us make the best decisions to kind of help us protect ourselves. And that's, that conversation went well. At IIL, it's a lot about the person, the skill set, the way that we could work together in a cohesive manner. And our president and CEO was quite impressed with her in the conversation that they had, and very good ethics. And that was very apparent. She had extremely good ethics. And so that's where the match was made. We felt she was a good character. We're a bunch of characters here, and we wouldn't scare her off. She would fit, she could, control us, if you will, because we get a little all over the place. And she fit in very, very nicely. And that's how we landed with her. She was willing to take on the challenge, and she was somebody that we were able to work with in the capacity that was not overwhelming for us either. IAL tends to, depending on the project, it's a way we tend to work. So they weren't fearful of it. And we had IT people here. We still had a lot of people here that could help her build, but we had a couple of intro meetings with those resources we had a lot of hands in our website, so it was kind of messy. When we had our first exploratory meeting with several of these team members there, she showed her wares right away. She showed her ability to comprehend what we were trying to do. She showed knowledge of, building the app services. Asking, what was most impressive to everyone right away is she asked the right questions. And when you ask the right questions and you cause us to think, that's who IIL feels most comfortable with. And some of these other larger companies do not do that. And that's where she differentiated herself. Was we had a team of people here. and she asked us the right questions to make us think about the decisions we wanted to go with. So that they were very comfortable with her questions from the get-go, and our main programmer, which I put a lot of weight in, was very impressed with her skill set from the beginning. So between those two things and our leadership meetings, we were very comfortable with our decision. In the beginning, I would say probably all in, there were probably 6. 3 of them, one of them was a very high level programmer, and she worked very closely with him. They both respected each other's skill sets, and they both were very good at questioning each other on how to make these very challenging decisions work, to have cloud talk to legacy. And it was not easy, and she had to really work with them very closely to go by trial and error to make things work, to get all the right things, to go travel from cloud to legacy, get what it needs, come back, and they all got very creative, made it work. So one of them, who has left now, but he was quite impressed with her and she was quite impressed with him. With her strategic questioning, they were most impressed with her ability to cause us to think. We tend to get in a room and beat everything up, and everybody's, alpha, and everybody's got a lot of opinions, and everybody has the way they want things to work. She had to deal with a lot of very strong personalities. And because she has a calmness and also a strategic brain, but she also has a little bit of firmness, okay, guys, and she did that very well. And it was always respected. She could get on the phone with our leaders. She knew when to just let the leaders go at it. She knew when to break in. You're wasting your time. You're going off on tangents. So from the leader perspective and from our president and CEO, which I personally report to, I could say one of the things that she was most impressed with was she wanted her on calls, not necessarily because Jenny said a lot, but what she said were the right things, and just really made you think about, wait, maybe we're not thinking about this the right way. And that was something that our leadership in both, our vice president of operations and our president and CEO and myself as an executive vice president of strategic projects valued greatly. I would say that her work ethic is far above and beyond, and her true ethics made it a very formidable relationship. I trusted her. She trusted me. If I had to put it in one sentence, the skill set is there, and it's okay when neither one of us had the answer, but I trusted in her work ethic and I trusted in her approach to solving a problem. And if you don't have trust, the rest of it doesn't really work. Well, what she solved was a big one. What she solved, even though we're going a different direction now, which she helped us go, but what she solved was our ability to have a dynamic website that was built in the cloud, okay? And she solved the interworkings of that cloud-based service to pull and manage our business from a legacy system. That is not easy. It was not easy. And she and her team with our team I remember the night at midnight, or like 10 o'clock at night, we were getting ready to turn it on. And we also had to work with an outside vendor for IT services that was also probably more than challenging at some times. And, we were able together to get it done and turn that switch on. And that was no easy task. It was 6 to 9 months worth of work. And she solved a problem of being able to have a dynamic website that we could build features in very quickly. And with she and her team, which she has a great team as well, were able to add features because she built it in she completely rebuilt our website in the React app when it was on a very, very old, I forget, .NET, which doesn't even exist anymore. And that is the main problem besides all of the other problems she solved that improved our business tremendously. What she did was show us how a website should behave, what we should do, how we need things to talk to one another, but we've also bought an LMS. And that LMS has a very good e-commerce store that has we were able to build our business into there, and we're flowing over to the TI, to our LMS store. But she has enabled us to understand how to manage that in a hybrid state that we're managing right now. She's also enabled us to quickly add a feature on our website when our salespeople want to. We always had to say no. Okay. Jenny enabled us to say yes, is my top answer. Yes, we can do that. And so we are going through that process now, and she's also going to be working on a new project with us with our printing sites using the React app, which is what we are familiar with now. We are familiar with how much she can do with rebuilding a website in the React app that she uses. She's very self-aware. She manages time and resources extremely well, and that's very important because she is always wanting to make sure that you're getting the most out of, the engagement that you're having, and she is helping you to not only manage her resources well, but your own resources well. So time management is something that is so important today, and she does that very well. And even though we didn't do it well at the beginning, I followed her and learned some things along the way from her on how to best manage time and resources. And for a company, I would not be, if any company wanted to use her, she knows exactly what she can do. She knows exactly what she doesn't want to do. She knows exactly what is possible and what may need a little fleshing out, but she just manages it all very, very well. And that would be one thing that I would have asked, how does she manage time and resources? I think that's an important skill set for anybody she's getting ready to work with. And I will just say bottom line, you cannot work with a client or a vendor that you don't trust. And there is a lot of trust there on both sides, even though I wasn't perfect, we weren't perfect, they weren't always perfect, but we just worked through every scenario to the point of success from a foundation of trust.